Hi, good morning, good evening. Welcome to today's session. If you are watching the channel for the first time, subscribe using the link below in the comment section. And of course, please provide your comments and your feedback. Let's talk about cloud computing today. And also, we would be talking about the various types of cloud providers, the models, and the services that are being provided. And of course, we will end up in the required what kind of skills that are required if you want to be a cloud professional. Okay, so let's move on. So these are the basic things which we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about cloud computing versus traditional web hosting. We are also going to talk about the types of cloud computing services. We are also going to talk about the cloud computing deployment models and the cloud providers. So, what's cloud computing? Okay, if you are starting a new organization or a small startup, you should be in need of computer resources which are obviously required for storage, in networking, and also you should be in need of a hosting environment for hosting your applications. So the wise idea to cater these needs is basically using a cloud environment, which of course provides on-demand availability of computer resources without a direct active management by the user, and also as a pay as in go model. So it is not necessary that you should own the entire hardware, software, and infrastructure required for your organization. So let's talk about the differences between cloud computing versus traditional web hosting. Okay. So the factors which we are going to consider here are scalability, pricing, resilience, performance, and maintenance. Okay. Of course, the scale, when I talk about the scalability, the cloud computing is highly scalable, and the traditional computing is limited scalability. So when I talk about, when I say about like highly scalable, let me explain you about how it is highly scalable. So suppose like you have a web application hosted, and during the time of Christmas Eve or a New Year vacation or holiday, there could be a lot of traffic. The number of users would be more in your application, and the necessity of the hardware, the software required for that application to run perfectly at that particular point in time is being called as scalability. And in a cloud environment, it is highly scalable. But of course, in a traditional environment, it is very limited because it is bound to be with the availability of the hardware that has been procured and existing in that particular organization or in that on prem environment. And if you are in need of going for a huge amount of infrastructure, then of course there is going to be high in cost, but the same infrastructure which you are going to use using a cloud environment is not going to be that expensive, because you are going to do a pay as you go model. And when you are in need of the resources, you inquire the resources, you use the resources. And suppose like if it is a non-holiday, a vacation period, and the traffic is less, the number of users are low, you don't need to have an additional hardware infrastructure required at that particular point in time. Okay. And resilience. Cloud computing has a high time guarantee. They say as like the high uptime guarantee. depends on the traffic, the traditional computing. Of course, I have to delete this. Okay. The resilience. The resilience varies between the cloud computing as well as the traditional computing. In a cloud computing environment, every provider has a high uptime guarantee, but in a traditional environment depends on the support what you provide, and the performance is always going to be high as we talk about the scalability and the resilience in a cloud computing environment. But in a traditional environment, it depends on the traffic and also the infrastructure which you have. And of course, the last, which is very important, maintaining the infrastructure, the environment, the hardware, the software with all the security controls is being taken care by the cloud provider in a cloud environment. But in a traditional hosting or a traditional computing environment, you have to handle the entire servers and you have to maintain those. So let's talk about the types of cloud computing services. The cloud computing services are basically with the three different services as of today, which is predominantly called as like IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So, what is IaaS? Infrastructure as a service. It means that the service offers essential compute and storage devices within and the network and also the network resources. So let's go to PaaS. What is PaaS? PaaS is platform as a service. It provides the customer, the users, a complete cloud environment for which from which you can develop, you can manage, you can run your application. And the last one is SaaS, which is as software as a service, which provides access to a software based on the subscription basis, any software like which is being hosted in that environment. Say for example Slack. So Slack being in the cloud environment, the users connect to the Slack cloud environment, use it as a software that is within their cloud premises or the cloud environment or within their internet. So let's go and talk about what are the cloud computing deployment models. The private, public, hybrid, and multi-hybrid. So let me explain about what is private. Private cloud is like the computer resources are hosted privately within a organization's own intranet or a dedicated data center. Suppose like you want to have your data to be secured, you want to have your applications to be running in an environment which is not being accessed by anybody, you need to go for a private environment, private cloud. But public cloud, these computer resources are available on demand to organization and individuals over the public internet. And hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is a mix of private as well as a public cloud and as well as also an on-prem data center. Multi-hybrid cloud, mix of two or more public cloud services. This is called multi-hybrid cloud environment. Okay. So, who are all the cloud computing providers predominantly existing in the industry? Of course, like there are many other providers. To name a few, AWS, Amazon Web Services, which is being provided by Amazon, Google Cloud, which is being provided by Google, the IBM Cloud, which is being provided by IBM, and Azure, which is being provided by Microsoft. And of course, there are many other providers existing in the market. Okay. So, if I want to be a cloud computing professional, what are the skills that I need to acquire? Of course, you need to have the basic knowledge about cloud computing, and then you can go for some of the certifications which I recommend. So, the one is from Amazon Web Services. which is AWS certification, and the one which is from IBM, which is IBM Certified Solution Architect, and of course, like Azure has also a Azure Cloud certification, which has various levels, and Google with Google Cloud Associate and Professional certification, and also if you are a certified cloud security professional, I would say that you have acquired. I would say that you have acquired a good amount of knowledge from clearing those certifications, and of course those are the basic certifications which I would recommend to go with. Okay, so these are the ones which are as per my knowledge and my experience, and of course these are subjected to market and industry changes. So thanks for watching this, and your feedback and your comments are valuable. So please provide your feedback and comments in the bottom of the section. And also, please subscribe to the channel by clicking on the link provided. Thank you.